Welcome back to another episode of the Thumb Strong podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to strength train safely at any age. And we really want to talk about strength training for seniors, retirees, people that are maybe just getting into it, and really help them get a better understanding of why strength training is so important, what the benefits are, and what the risks are when you don't strength train. We have a lot of people that are worried about osteoporosis or just kind of being limited by their ability and what they can do for activities and everyday tasks. So we want to talk about strength training at any age, but also how it can benefit you as you get older. So first thing that we're kind of go over is we want to kind of break the biggest misconception of strength training. So a lot of people, when they think about strength training, obviously they're thinking about lifting heavy barbells and things like that. They think it might be dangerous to do. They think it's only for people that are young or for athletes. They might think that it's hard on your joints or bad for your back, which, hey, it's understandable to think that. I can see the internet doesn't help a lot because they have a lot of fail videos and stuff. So I can see where people have that misconception, but we really want to break that. That
or they know
belief.
People that got hurt lifting weights, but often that's just because they were overloading or they weren't using correct form.
Right. It's probably just because they didn't know exactly how to do it right.
Right.
And so the reality is not strength training is riskier than actually strength training. So, the risk of losing that muscle, the balance, the bone density, and then getting injured, falling becomes higher risk. You really lose your independence when you don't strength train. So I would rather take that risk of strength training. It's not really a risk, but like for people that, are worried about it, the chance of getting injured doing that is far less than not doing it. And that's what we really want to get to today. So strength training isn't just all about, lifting as heavy as possible and doing deadlifts and squats, although those are very beneficial and we'll talk about it. But it's about first appropriate load, learning how to do it properly, controlled movements, and then progressing from there. So the videos that you see, maybe they didn't start with the appropriate load or they didn't start with the proper form and technique. And if they did get injured, maybe that's why. But there are so many success stories with people that do learn how to do it and have appropriate load and progress over time. And, Bethany was just telling me a story about an 81 and 82-year-old couple that a physical therapist took them through a 1-year strength training program, and that just drastically changed their life and their strength and improved bone density and their functionality.
It's on YouTube called Rebuilding Mom and Dad.
Yeah. So it was actually his parents, right? Or
her parents. Yeah. So she's 50, I think so. And her mom's 82, was walking with a cane. And then after like a year of strength training, was walking without the cane, very upright, her posture was significantly improved, energy, they just looked so much more. They had so much more vitality, looking at their before video, before they started them talking and being interviewed, and then looking at the after video. I mean, they just seemed so much more happy and vibrant and just full of life because they had more strength and energy and confidence.
Yep.
And being able to do anything they needed to do, all the basic stuff, because the muscle is important for basic things like standing up out of a chair, picking up something off the ground,
going up steps,
carrying things into the house, all these super basic things that become really crucial for independence and confidence later in life and everything like that too.
100%. Yeah. And so what we're going to kind of go over is how to strength train safely at any age, why strength training becomes more important as we get older, what good training should actually look like for beginners and seniors. And strength training doesn't have to have an age limit. So that's what we want to kind of start with. So for the first section here, why strength training matters as you age. Obviously, we just kind of mentioned some things, but the number one thing is muscle loss, so sarcopenia. So adults can lose 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade after age 30.
And
So-
then when they hit 50, it starts to accelerate,
Yeah.
and then 60 compounds even more when there's not some sort of intervention.
Right. So no matter what, after age 30, you're going to slowly start to lose a little bit of muscle mass if you're not basically combating it with some form of resistance training. So that muscle loss is going to lead to weakness, slower metabolism, higher risk for injury, and then difficulty with those daily tasks like we talked about. It's also going to lead to lower bone density and joint health. So strength training helps to improve and maintain that bone density, reduce that risk for osteoporosis, strengthens the connective tissues around the joints. So you actually have better joints and hopefully less pain even.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because we think of strength training like, oh, we're going to be sore and it might hurt or something, but it actually leads to reduced pain and better joints and stuff like that, right? So joints do not deteriorate from proper strength training is kind of the point on that. The other huge thing is the balance and the stability, fall prevention, essentially.
Right.
So by strength training and improving the strength of the muscles and the connective tissues in your joints, you're going to be more stable. You're going to have better balance, better coordination, reduce that risk of falling. You're going to have better reaction time. So it helps with so many different things. So strength training is one of the most powerful tools to have to stay active, stay independent, and actually just build confidence as you age. And that's what we want to try to accomplish. So, Bethany, what does safe strength training mean? How would somebody start out and progress at those age levels?
Yeah. The biggest thing is safety is all about progression and correct progression and not trying to perfect anything. So safe training, you're going to be starting at the right level or even less than what you're technically capable of doing. So for example, it'd be starting super light, either with super light dumbbells or barbell. Like you should feel like there's more in the tank, that you should be able to do more. But then from that, you're mastering the movement patterns first. So you're mastering, okay, this is how you properly deadlift. This is how you properly squat and press. So then that way you gradually increase your weight over time.
Yep.
And you can start doing sets or something, but mostly if you want that strength, you've got to increase the load. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to start with 10 reps and go up to 20 reps at the same weight. That's not what builds strength. What builds strength is increasing the load on your body. Like that's what your body senses, how much load is in, whatever, in your hands or on your back. Like that's, the muscles have little tiny organs in them, little sensors that sense how much load and stretch is being placed on them.
Yep.
And that's what causes the adaptation. Same thing for like bones, for bone density.
Yeah, our body is an amazing thing. Like when it's presented with this stimulus, this load, it is amazing at adapting. And when you do it consistently enough in the right way, it will adapt. It's like, okay, we're presented with this load, every day or 3 days a week, whatever it is.
Right.
And it's like, okay, we need to adapt. Like it doesn't know what you're doing. It just knows that we need to adjust so that we can do this.
Yeah.
And we do body scans with a lot of people. And if we have people that have, maybe they've been overweight for a while, and we throw them on the InBody, their muscle mass is usually great. Like they'll have above average muscle mass. And that's because their body is like, okay, we need to get used to doing daily activities with this extra weight on us.
Correct.
So we need to build strength. And so one positive thing, if you're somebody that, hey, I want to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever, 100 pounds, odds are you've got higher muscle mass than your average. If you were a normal weight but didn't do any strength training, you might have a lot of work to do to build that muscle up, right?
Yeah.
So that's just an example of how our body adapts naturally, because if you've got an extra 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds on you, your body will adapt and you will have more muscle mass. You're going to build it.
Right.
So if you are somebody that's in the normal weight range, guess what you've got to do to be able to have that muscle mass? You've got to provide a load and resistance to build that muscle up. So
some other forms of progress to look for is, it is improving form and having more control of the weight, but also increased range of motion is huge. So yes, starting with light loads and practicing that and getting better and stronger with those, but then working on doing lower squats to where it is like, okay, a sitting position, or as far as deadlifts, like maybe it is starting from like a raised position, like on a rack or on a set of steps or something like that, and then gradually working your way down to full range of motion. And so that's another way of progression rather than just adding weights each time.
Yeah. And so something that we have written on our, we have a big banner in our room with just kind of like our core values and all this stuff. And part of our training philosophy is with our clients, we want to first teach form and then tempo. So tempo would be, think like the controlling of the weight. You don't want to let that weight pull you around. You want to be in control of the weight, and then you focus on the load. So when I start with a new client, if they've never trained before, we might start with just a body weight box squat. So we're going to sit down to this box or bench, stand back up, get that form of the squat down first. I've worked with a lot of clients where I will have them do a kettlebell deadlift, and I'll put a couple of bumper plates down so it's elevated off the ground. We'll start with that and then remove those plates so they're getting fuller range of motion, touching the floor. Then we worry about adding the weights up. And I've been working with a couple of newer clients over the last 2-3 months. And we started with like a 15, 20 pound kettlebell deadlift, just an air box squat. And then now they're doing, I just did 70 pound kettlebell deadlifts with 2 of my clients. They're both in their 60s. And so they've built so much strength over just a short amount of time, because you have that neuromuscular strength. You can increase strength so fast without even having to build a ton of muscle right away, which is awesome. But it's just slowly every couple weeks, we're adding a little bit of load, and sticking into that kind of same rep range. Like you said, you don't want to just do a 20 pounder and go from 10 reps to 20 reps to 30 reps. You want to increase that load over time as you adapt. So,
but some proper and key movement patterns that everybody should train regardless of age. You want to do squatting. So that's things sitting down and standing up, and then hinges, which would be like a deadlift or an RDL, something like that. Pushing. So upper body, like your chest, shoulders, triceps. That's going to be your bench press or push-ups. And then pulling, so upper body pulling, that's going to be your back and biceps, a little bit of grip, forearms. So that could be rows, pull-ups, pull-downs, and then also carrying weight. So loaded carries like a farmer's carry or suitcase carry, whether it's, kettlebell or dumbbell in each hand, carrying them for a certain distance. And then core stability, not just like sit-ups and crunches. Core stability from like planks and hollow holds, dead bugs, things like that.
And all these movement patterns, like we do what's called functional training, functional strength training. So the exercise selection that we like to choose when we're doing our classes or working with clients is it relates to everyday real life tasks. So that's what that functional strength training means. So when we're talking about squats, whether it's a barbell squat, a dumbbell goblet squat, a front squat, a box squat, you're training getting up out of a chair, getting out of your car. Anytime you sit and stand up, you are training that, because I like to tell my clients, like the moment you no longer have the strength to do a squat is the moment you need a cane, a walker, some sort of assistance to do those things. And that's what we want to avoid, right? Hinging, like picking stuff up. So you think about picking anything up off the ground, you're doing a deadlift, right? So that's why we train that movement. Pushing, anytime you got to push yourself away, close a door, pull open a door. So that's the other way, right? So we're working all those everyday tasks. The loaded carries, think about carrying your groceries into the house without needing assistance or having to take one bag at a time or something. The core stability, so that you're not falling down, you've got better balance and stability, right? So, I love the movement patterns. We try to hit them all, and we're going to provide some examples on what you can do on that too. But tempo, range of motion, and control. So slower controlled reps will reduce that risk of injury. And the nice thing about that is you can implement slow tempo before you have to necessarily increase the weight, right?
Right.
So sometimes with a lot of my clients, maybe they've had an injury in the past and we're trying to build that strength back up. The last thing I want to do is throw a really heavy weight at them. So I'll have them do a moderate weight, really slow tempo, and that's going to really help provide more time under tension to create that similar adaptation to the muscle so that that muscle can grow stronger. The other thing, like Bethany mentioned, full range of motion. So for example, when we're doing push-ups, we have to always get on our clients about this, but you don't want to just sit there and go in the middle like this. Like we want to try to touch our chest to the box or the floor and then fully extend. So we're getting that full range of motion. Same thing with overhead pressing. That's why we start with a box, so they have a target to go to for squats. So we can kind of teach them, okay, this is how low you want to go, and we'll start high, eventually go lower and lower and lower until we can get our butt below our knees, and then we start adding that weight to it. So that full range of motion is going to be huge, and we can do this with machines, dumbbells, bands, body weight, barbells. You can do it with a wide variety of equipment.
Right.
So best practices.
Yes.
What do we got?
So best practices at different, training stages, life stages, beginners and adults 40 to 55. Your focus area is going to be learning proper technique. I mean, that's proper. First
for everybody.
First step for everybody is to learn proper technique. Next is building consistency. That's still for everybody too. And then joint friendly volume. So obviously you're not 20 years old anymore like me. And, I could take a little bit more of a beating from a workout and recover a little bit easier. So just making sure it's not being overdone. Like you're not overdoing it when you're starting out. So 2 to 3 days per week is pretty ideal. You could, if you want to get more advanced, then do like more often days a week, just make sure you're splitting things up. So you're not hitting the same things every day, 5 times a week. But 2 to 3 days per week is about where you want to start. And I think that's what most people shoot for is getting into the gym 2 to 3 days.
And you could even just say, we want to hit each of those movement patterns 1 or 2 times a day or a week.
Right.
So to start out, it might be just hitting every movement pattern once a week. So maybe we do 3 full body workouts or 2 full body workouts. And then as you get more advanced, we can start splitting that up. So like Bethany, you just mentioned, you started doing all lower body day 1, upper body pushing day 2, upper body pulling day 3, and then you cycle through that again.
Right.
So even though you're training 6 days a week, you're allowing adequate rest. Your legs, you've got 2 days in between. The push, you've got 2 days in between. The pull, you got 2 days in between, and you got a full rest day on Sunday, probably. Right. So that is important to know. But for most people, if you got a busy schedule, or maybe you can't come to the gym, maybe you live 30 minutes away. Like we have a lot of people from Ubly and further. Maybe you can only make it 2 days. That's why we're going to be hitting every single movement pattern for both of those or all 3 of those workouts.
Yeah. And then make sure to combine that with daily movements like walking and mobility. So like people love to do walking and yoga, especially, as you're getting older, like keep the flexibility, keep the movement. So do those on the other days that you don't come into the gym.
Yep.
So adults like 55 to 70, that age range, you want to focus on lower body strength, especially because that's what's going to help with the balance and preventing falls, things like that. Core stability, especially, and like balance and unilateral movement. So unilateral just means single leg. So like step ups or lunges, that would also be great. Just taking that through the same process of like starting off easier and then progressing them either lower depth or higher steps or adding weight with those. And then making sure to do slightly longer warm-ups, making sure there's enough, even sometimes more recovery between sessions. So doing like a Monday, Thursday, if you train twice a week, having adequate, 3 days in between, 2-3 days in between to help recover. And then still progressing, but at a slower pace than you could. Like even just adding, 1 pound each week or 2.5 pounds each week. not like 10-pound jumps.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then for the 70 plus crowd, it's surprising how many, I mean, I've trained a good amount of like the 70 plus crowd. I know there's one couple that was like 80 and 83 that I trained for a while. Man, they had more energy than some 40-year-olds that I trained as. Yeah. They were bouncing off the walls.
Yep.
And so their training, obviously, keep the structure, keep it consistent, and just having someone there to help build confidence if you're a complete beginner starting at, over 70. You want to make sure that you're guided through everything just to make sure that you are doing everything to correct form. So whether that is a personal trainer or somebody that's been in the gym for a while, we have a member that's been helping out other new people, and because he just started like a year ago, and so he's been assisting people with machines and form like that.
Yep.
And so machines are excellent for controlling the range of motion and reducing like the balance. So those are great things to start on.
Yep.
And then once you build a little bit of strength and muscle after the first, maybe 4 weeks, starting to implement more of the dumbbells and like the free weights and body weight exercises.
Yeah. On the topic of like the machines, and since we're on like the seniors and retirees right now, the 70 plus, talk a little bit about like why it's important for them to increase that load and why they need to do a heavier load. So like the machines are cool because you're in a fixed position. So like a chest press machine, shoulder press machine, lat pull down machine, leg press. You can add a fairly heavy load and you're still in perfect form and technique because the machine does the kind of the pattern for you. But why is that load really important?
Yeah, the load's really important just because it's telling your body that you need to stay strong and get stronger.
Yep.
It's an easy way to progress. I mean, starting off lighter and everything like that, and then just adding a little bit each time. So it's telling your body, hey, we need to grow that muscle mass back and keep those bones dense and strong because we have this load being put on our bodies. And, progressing to things like, dumbbell goblet squats and kettlebell deadlifts and then like barbells, using those. I mean, that's what the video that I watched, they only trained with barbells. They only did like barbell deadlifts, and she did do like a smaller like goblet squat, but then the barbell is actually a little bit more stable than even dumbbells because dumbbells have two things that you got to control, and then the barbell's just one straight bar.
Yep.
So that just allows you to load more. And then once you have that bar path down from the machines, then you're able to have more load and get a little bit more stability and a little bit more muscle building benefits and bone density benefits from like being loaded on your body.
Yeah. And it's engaging so many more muscles when you have a free weight, like a barbell or a dumbbell. The machines are excellent, don't get me wrong, but since you are in a fixed position and it's forcing you to do it in the right movement pattern, you are isolating the muscle that you want. But when you switch to, for example, like a barbell bench press, or if you're going from a leg press to a goblet or a barbell squat, you're engaging so many more muscles, stabilizing muscles to balance and make sure that your body can go through that range without tipping forward or backward or side to side. So you're going to get some core engagement and different muscles firing, which is just going to help you build even more strength.
Right.
But one of the priorities for us is, for anybody training in that age range is, getting up and down safely, carrying those objects safely, maintaining that independence like we talked about. So all of these exercises and that load, that strength training is going to help with these things, right? So you're never too old to get stronger. You just got to have the right approach.
Yeah.
And our client that we mentioned, Keith, he's a perfect example. I believe he said he was 83, and it was the best decision he's made. He told me was starting to come to the gym, and he can move some weight. He is very strong, very independent. He can do anything he wants to do. He's gone on a couple hunting trips this past year.
That's good.
So it's very cool to see him say that. and he's been a very big inspiration on a lot of the people in the gym too.
Right.
He's got his sister Carolyn, and she's really loving it too. She's noticed a huge difference in her strength,
cool.
and outside of the gym activities and stuff has gotten better. So very cool. Just on the topic of if you are retired, the great thing about us having like 24/7 access is that midday is very slow. Yeah. So even if you're not coming to our gym, a lot of gyms are 24/7, and you got to imagine, everybody that's still currently working full time, they're usually coming into the gym first thing in the morning or after work in the later afternoon. So for retirees, it's an excellent time to come in between that 9 and 2, 9 and 3. The gym's going to be more open. You're going to have more freedom to utilize the equipment without having to run into a bunch of people. So less intimidation and stuff like that. So just wanted to kind of reassure you guys that it is a safe and welcoming space, and we think that you would really, really enjoy it. So yeah. Anything else on that you want to?
I think that's good. Yeah.
Cool. So how we kind of want to make strength training safe is we love to start with everybody with some form of coaching first. So kind of like what we mentioned, the reason that people might get injured is if they just come in here and try things on their own. Maybe they don't do it correctly. They don't know how much weight to use, how many reps to do. So we try to start with coaching first. So even for people that just want to come in on their own, we've been offering like a free gym demo so we can at least teach people how all the machines work, what it's doing. And then we'll tell you, hey, start with 3 sets of 10 to 15, lightweight, get used to it, and then slowly kind of start building up from there. We've got our group training. So we have 2 classes that we call Beginner Bootcamp, Beginner Strength. They are as advanced as you want to make it, but it is great for beginners because you can go at your own pace. We're going to show you kind of the ropes first and have easier variations and then slowly work you up.
Right.
We've got those progressions kind of built in, like especially with the level method with Fit Camps, it's literally on a map how to progress from literally total beginner white level all the way up
squatting to a box
black.
to
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's all built out. We try to make sure everybody starts off on the right foot. One of the first questions that we ask is, have you ever trained before? Do you have any experience? And if you don't, we highly recommend, we kind of prescribe like, hey, let's do at least a session or 2 to teach you all the basics, make sure you know what you're doing, proper form and technique.
Right.
One of our most popular programs is our beginner package. So we'll expand on that gym demonstration session with 2 or 3 sessions, and we'll teach you how to do the exercises to a program. So we have a 3-day full body program that you can come in and follow after we've taught you how to do it. And people have had really good success with that.
Yeah.
Actually, Keith did that a year ago, and he's still doing it and progressing and building off of it. So that's really cool to see. So yeah, we try to be super supportive, demonstrate as much as we can. If you have any questions, we're here to help you guys. And we try to, we have way more options than we really need or should have. We have so many different ways that you can get started, but I look at it as a way, it's for anybody. And I kind of look at it as a pro because we have a variety or an option for anyone and everyone. So we kind of go against the grain of most gyms of only offering certain things. We offer many different options because we really want to help anybody and everybody. If you want to come in just on your own, we're going to help you get started at least on the right track. If you need that accountability and support, you don't want to have to think about what to do, come to the group training. Yeah. You're going to build some friends. You're going to have a high energy class that you're going to have fun in. You're in and out in 45 minutes. You have the structure already there. And then obviously you have people that maybe their schedules are inconsistent or they don't like to be in big groups. We have that personal training option where we can really personalize a program for you and start you from zero and build you up over time, with actual structured progressions, right? So we have those different options. Something that we're really excited about is we just partnered up with a new insurance plan, Medicare, Medicaid, so one pass. So now a lot of people can qualify for a free gym access membership at least. So you can come in and use the 24/7 equipment for free as long as you qualify, and we'll do a gym demo or some sessions with you to get you off on the right track. So we really want to try to help anybody get started on their health and fitness and teach you all the benefits of it. So our goal isn't to push people and kill people. It's totally like the opposite of the belief of personal trainer, like, oh, we're gonna give you the worst workout possible. And no, we just want people to move better, feel better, gain strength, and stay active for life so that they can keep their independence and be able to do the things they want to do and play with their kids and grandkids and go on trips or whatever they want. Right. So that's kind of how we can help and what we do. So to kind of close it off, like I said, whether you're a total beginner, a senior, or if you are an athlete or something and want something to continue doing to stay active, we've got an option for you. If you're somebody that struggles with consistency or accountability, maybe you wake up, you're like, I don't want to go to the gym today. We've got that training and group training that are great options where you're kind of scheduling an appointment. I've got to show up at Tuesday, Thursday at 6, I've got to be there or whatever. So we try to make sure that we can hold you accountable, but also provide a safe environment, welcoming environment. We love our Fit Fam community. I think that's one of the most common compliments we get is just, it's not what I expected. I expected to walk in and there's a bunch of fit people in their 20s or 30s. And it's like, no, it's, 80% of those people that are coming in are busy moms and dads, just like you, just wanting to be fit, healthy, move better, gain that strength, and that's that's what we try to provide is a welcoming and supportive community. So yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, just the biggest thing is just walking through the door.
Yeah,
there's always an option for everybody.
Yep, that's the hardest part, and I will tell everybody that because I've sat down like this with hundreds of people, and that's always the hardest part is just opening the door for the first time and walking in. But once you do that, we'll kind of take care of the rest. Yeah. We like to say. So strength training is one of the most powerful investments that you can possibly make in your future health. And you can start at any age. And Keith's a great example. He's coming up on his first year of strength training at 83, and he's absolutely loving it. So you can start at any age. Obviously, we wish everybody would have started in their 20s or teens, but hey, the second best time is today. Yeah. Right. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you want to get started, all you got to do is let us know, book a consult, come in and see us at the desk, and we can get you started on the right track. So until next time, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys soon.